Victoria Beckham's long-awaited Netflix documentary went live today, and in it, the former Spice Girl reveals that she has struggled with a secret eating disorder for many years. Posh Spice says that she became very good at lying about what she was eating, even to her closest friends and her family. The 51-year-old fashion designer says constant chatter about her weight in the press, even sometimes being referred to as Porky Spice, pushed her to develop some very unhealthy habits. And I wonder whether that's precisely what happened to you, and how did it make you feel? I know that when my parents, for example, criticised my weight, all I could think of was to go and find a biscuit and find some comfort. And when it happened very publicly in the press, and I was accused of being, the woman who's drinking custard, I was called the woman who's eaten her audience, I was accused of having breasts like World War I barrage balloons, it wasn't the nicest thing. And how did I feel? I felt horrible. I felt just as horrible as you'd feel if it happened to you. So maybe you have been the friend who thought, shall I say something? Shan't I say something? Shall I say you're gaining weight? What shall I do? You were laughing at that. It is not funny, Gyles Brandreth. Stop laughing.
I find that people slightly overweight are rather attractive. I was a child, my heroes, and indeed it's relevant to Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Some of the great heroes of all time have been slightly overweight. Billy Bunter was on television when I was a little boy. I adored Billy Bunter. The whole theme about Billy Bunter is he was...
Well, he always had his tuck box, didn't he? He was always just...
The fat out of the remove.
Yes.
The cake came, he cut out a slice and then picked up the rest of the cake to eat, and you were left with a slice. Sir John Falstaff, one of the great Shakespearean heroes, Toad of Toad Hall, a little bit round. Winnie the Pooh, a little bit round. So there's nothing wrong with being a little bit round.
But is there something wrong with saying that someone is round?
You can't say anything now. I mean, if I say...
But is that good or bad that you can't say anything now?
I like to be able to say things, not personal remarks, but I'd like to be able to say that you are beautiful. But I now would have to say you're beautiful and brilliant. You can't make a personal remark just about people's appearance.
Joanna, obviously Posh, Victoria Beckham, has really been through it, through the mill, and, thoroughly scrutinised, and she says it really did get to her enormously.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I find it staggering, the comments that people make on social media about people's weight or their looks. I mean, what's it got to do with anything? And inevitably the person that's making those comments is not exactly an oil painting. And my heart goes out to her because, she's a beautiful woman who, there was absolutely nothing wrong with her weight. And if there was, say what? Let's not forget Alison Moyet, stunning singer, Demis Roussos.
Who could forget Demis Roussos, and why would you ever want to? Yes.
Powerful singers. But I think when you've got friends and when you are of a certain age and you know that maybe somebody has put on a bit of weight and they're feeling uncomfortable about it and they're trying to lose it. I'm not at all. I'm just being inclusive.
Yes, no.
I'm being inclusive.
I would love to be the fat one on this panel. That's fine. I can take it.
You're not the fat one. You're the lovely one. Don't say that.
I think it's really important. And and I'm just going to give you an example here. A girlfriend of mine who was sort of saying, I want to lose a bit of weight. And I said, I think, good idea. Can you help? Go and see my weight loss doctor, which she went to go and see. And the doctor, so she's a really great mate of mine. She said, look, Joanna's paying. Let's have some blood tests. Let's have some scans done. Thank God we discovered she was 91% visceral fat, completely centred around her heart. She was pre-diabetic and she had a tumour on her pituitary gland.
Gosh.
So this is about health. And if you use health as a weapon, that's wrong. But if you use health as a means to help somebody, I mean, if my mother turned around to me and said, which she did endlessly, darling, you've got a bit tubby. I mean, that's, you immediately go for the eclairs. But if it's a friend and it's a friend who's there, who's understanding, that's a different way. But anything that's done publicly, I think, is shameful.
Is there a case for fat shaming, given the amount that the NHS has to spend on helping people with obesity? I have a family member, exactly the same position as you. I didn't do it, but my wife took him aside and said, I'm getting worried.
Yeah.
Go to the doctor, please, and have all the tests. And he was pre-diabetic, and more than that, he had to cut down on the food and on the drinking. If she hadn't actually raised it with him, this would not have happened.
Yeah.
So it's difficult.
Maybe it's about the way you do it, possibly.
Yeah, I think the way you just said
what do you think?
I think the way that you just mentioned that example, your wife was very loving. And if I received that, I would see it as love. I think it's when people are just saying you're fat or like, you look quite big, and they recoil in your presence. And I do think relationships do matter. So I think you have to have proximity to someone and a certain level of affinity to someone before you're able to invite yourself into what they're looking like at this time. And that makes it really a loving act.
The problem is, people say to me a lot, they've said to me recently, oh, you're looking well. I know what that means. I put on a bit of weight. The moment somebody says you're looking well, I go,
coded language.
Back on the low carb diet, no bread, rice, pasta and potatoes, lose 2 pounds a week, I do it for a month. They stop saying you're looking well.
But I would say that if you're gaining weight, when I say if, I gained it, I lost it, I gained it, I lost it. But when and if you're gaining weight, you do know it. You can't possibly not know it. Of course you know it. You know that your jeans won't do up. You know that your face is puffing up. You know it. So do you really need anyone, even if they are well-meaning, to tell you what you most certainly know? It's not as if anyone doesn't know that they've gained weight. Of course you know.
It's healthy. That's the thing. It's the undiscovered stuff about you. That's what's important. And I think my particular friend, I said, when was the last time you had a blood test? And she said, I have absolutely no idea. If we MOT ourselves, then we don't have to worry.
But I think maybe addressing the things around it. So you talked about blood tests, you talk about other things that could be connected to weight loss. Then it's a different question. Was that the last time you went for a checkup? Is a better question than you look bigger than I'm used to you seeing.
Let's go straight to Jenny in Essex on this one. Jenny, what do you think?
Hi, hello.
Hello.
Hello. I just think people need to be kind, because what's a throwaway comment from one person can be taken by the other person, as being a change.
Yeah.
I had a situation where I'm in my 60s now.
Yeah.
I was 16. I come from a long line of sisters, the youngest.
Yeah.
One was in the bathroom being ill, quite a bit older than me. I'm waiting outside thinking, oh my God, I hope you're okay. She was being ill in the bathroom, and she came out and said, no, it's okay, I've eaten too much. I just don't want to put any weight on. That was a change for me. So I became bulimic from the age of 16 to 31.
Oh, no.
And it's purely from a throwaway comment like that. It's not her fault. She didn't realise. But I got pregnant, and I was bulimic at one point, and I just thought, oh, I could hurt my child. That stopped me in having my children and my partner and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
It all worked out.
So that one comment, Jenny, that one moment.
Comment. Gosh. And because it is crazy. And so I think we just need to be a bit careful now. And I think there's so many things with the media, with perceptions of how people should look, particularly, that our brain is a wonderful thing, but it can be a complete nightmare. It could really upset us and do a change for a long time.
I think that's a heck of a call. I mean, the idea that just this one moment of listening to a sister presumably vomiting in the bathroom and thinking, gosh, and then becoming bulimic just on the basis that you hear it a lot. Yeah. People say one word, one thing. They probably don't mean it to be so piercing. Jenny, thank you so much. Let's talk to Debbie in Leicestershire about this. Debbie, how do you feel about people commenting on other people's weight?
Oh, hello. Hello, Vanessa.
Hello.
How are you all?
We're lovely, thank you.
Hello, panel. And this is to do with do not judge the person by their look. You do not say things like, oh, you're fat. Because you can say, Gyles Brandreth said to you, oh, you're well. It depends how you take that well comment. But I go running out. People say, oh, you do really well. And I'm very proudly say to them, I'm a personal trainer. I'll keep it like this. I run and I do lots of things to keep it at my weight managed. So this is why I'm doing this, because I've done this for many years. So, and also, when I was at a younger age, my father said to my mother, he couldn't bring it up, said, because I was slightly bulging up on the sides of my dress. And he said to her, tell her she's put weight on. And she told me that you put weight on. And I took it bored, thinking, oh, I must be fat, then I'm better. So when I went to bought a bike, started an indoor bike. But at that time, I didn't know nothing about fitness, nothing about nutrition. Well, I got it done, then he was really happy, thinking, oh, well done, you did nice.
Right, so Debbie, would you say that you're a personal trainer and you began this whole campaign of fitness and nutrition and everything else because your father said to your mother, Debbie's putting on weight? Was that the thing that really started it all off?
He was embarrassed to tell me.
It's embarrassed to tell you. All right, Debbie, thank you so much. I mean, it makes you feel that people should tread carefully when they make personal remarks.
My wife tells me not to speak at all.
Oh, good luck with that one, Michelle, after all these years. Karen's on the line in Cambridge. Hi, Karen. What do you feel about this, making personal remarks about people's weight?
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
And hi, panel. Well, in my opinion, I believe in freedom of speech, but I don't believe in bad manners, you know. And I think it falls into the category of bad manners. To comment on a person's size, colour, anything, is bad manners. And unfortunately, now we're having to be silenced due to the people that have bad manners.
Do you think, though, that it's different if people do it kindly and they mean it out of concern? They're not trying to insult you, or they don't want to be rude.
Well,
That's not what they're trying to be.
Because, yeah, if somebody was, you know, worried about your health or something, and they were to be kind in the way they put it over, that's fine. But when it's an attack, when it's a loose remark, it's bad manners. And I love, you know, I mean, when I've put a few pounds on, I'm fully aware of it, and I might silence you. You know, the public might silence you, but you're still thinking it. You're thinking, she's put a bit of weight on. And I'm aware that you're thinking it, possibly by the way you've looked at me or something.
Yes. Yes. It's unfortunately, this whole subject is just, I think, bound up with such anguish.
Yeah.
You know, such anguish. People take it so deeply, you feel so affronted, you feel... And also then you know, if you have a weight problem or an eating disorder that's out of control, then you don't know what to do to address it because it's so very difficult. And poor old Victoria Beckham, I mean, I feel so sorry for her battling that in secret. Didn't even tell her own parents. And we all knew she was very thin, and we knew she was incredibly disciplined and only eats, you know, steamed fish. And do you remember she had that birthday cake that was a piece of watermelon? Do you remember? In a cake shape. And I think people thought, gosh, this iron discipline is commendable, but one didn't know that she was really deeply suffering. So if she's watching, lots of love, Victoria.